Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me. It's Healthy Habits Wednesday, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about sugar and your health. Before the introduction of refined grains and sugars, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and obesity really weren't very common. So we hear a lot now about paleo, keto, low carb, whatever version of these new diets many people are following. They do have one big thing in common, and the underlying assumption is that sugar is our enemy. And while this can be somewhat oversimplified, there is some truth to it. But still, it's really important to understand the nuances so you can make the best choices for you, your body, and your health, because sugar and health are somewhat related. For one, there's actually two types of sugar. What's the difference between the two, and is one healthier than the other one? So first, sugars or sweeteners are added to foods during processing or preparation to enhance the flavor profile of the food. They also might appear on an ingredients list as brown sugar, pure cane sugar, raw sugar, molasses, and high fructose corn syrup. Naturally occurring sugars are part of a whole food, like the lactose in milk or the fructose in fruit. And the good news is that these types of sugar are metabolized completely differently by our body than the additive components of sugars and sweeteners to processed foods. And that's because in whole foods, there's more protein, more fiber, and water content in the whole foods. They're also way lower on glycemic index than added sugars. So when you eat a whole food or a whole fruit, you typically don't get a sugar crash like you do when you eat a donut or a piece of cake or other foods with added sugar. Eating fresh fruits can be added as part of a balanced diet. I eat fruit every day. Berries and apples and half a banana in my smoothie and lots of greens. So the takeaway is natural sugars are much better for the body than the added ones. So you want to keep in mind that you want to choose foods that fuel your body, that not all sugars are created equally, and your body will thank you for making these informed choices. If you're concerned about your sugar consumption, try keeping a food journal and logging all of the nutritional data of what you're eating, because you may be eating more added sugar than you realize. When we look at the fact that most American adults actually consume an average of 77 grams of added sugar per day, according to the American Heart Association, eating too much added sugar can cause those chronic spikes in blood sugar, weight gain, and increase your risk for several chronic diseases. There's also supplements on the market that can help you with your sugar cravings. I know for me, everybody that knows me will tell you that my favorite line is, I don't eat any candy, cookie, cakes, or pies, or ice cream. I'd rather have a bowl of fruit. I'd rather have honey. I'd rather eat something way more natural. When I first went off of sugar, I used Stick Sated from Nature's Sunshine to help me with my sugar cravings, because they were pretty bad the first couple weeks. So I also want to share some other tips for you to reduce your sugar. Okay, watch your trouble foods. Trouble foods are those candy, cookie, cakes, and pies, and ice creams, and sugary soda. Did you know a can of soda actually contains over an ounce of sugar, or 10 teaspoons of sugar? And I remember one time I did a talk at the Rotary Club about sugar and eating healthy, and I put an ounce of sugar in a plastic Ziploc baggie, and I asked anybody if they wanted to eat it. And of course, everybody said, no, we don't want to eat that. But when you look at a can of soda, there's 28 to 40 grams of sugar in it, and 28 grams is an ounce. So I then asked everybody, hey, how many of you are drinking a soda? And a lot of people were like, wow, that's a lot of sugar that you're eating, once or twice a day. And start reading your nutrition labels, because they always have total sugar and added sugar on them. So when you now know that 28 grams of sugar is an ounce, if a package says 20 grams of sugar in a serving, and the serving's half a cup, that's a lot of sugar. And again, replace your candy and desserts with nature's candy, which is sweet fruit, maybe some even dried fruit with some nuts to balance them, because your fruits have fiber, protein, and lots of water and vitamins in them. If you're one of those people that, grab something because you get so hungry, maybe you want to plan ahead and keep a healthier snack as a backup on hand. I usually carry around a baggie of nuts or an apple with me whenever I go anywhere. That way, if I get hungry, I have something I can eat. And when you're baking items at home, I know this, and I do this, like if I'm baking a banana bread or a zucchini bread, or a cake for a friend, and it says 1.5 cups of sugar, I usually put in 1/2 cup or 3/4 cup. Nobody notices any different. So that's what we need to do, because there's too much obesity, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and a lot of it's from all these added sugars that we're eating, because we're not really paying attention to it. So watch your sugars, eat healthy, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for Sharing Wellness Wednesday. Thanks. Have a good day.